Hello, everybody.
Eddie Oriana? Did I pronounce your last name properly?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. So, Mr. Oriana, I went over your rights. Do you have anything I need to clarify for you?
No.
Okay. And it looks like you were charged with public intoxication from June 23rd. Do you recall that situation?
Yes.
Okay. And how would you like to plead? Would you like to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Well, I was just trying to make sure that it wasn't what I wanted was for it to not be on my record. But I think you said that class is the only way to.
Yes, so we haven't gotten that far, but yes, first I've got to try to figure out what your plea is, right? Because you can plead guilty or no contest, and then we'll talk about that. Or you
well, I
can plead
feel
not
like-
guilty, and you can talk to the prosecutor and come up with a solution with him, or you can, ask for a trial of some sort. I mean, there's other options there too.
Yes, because me and my wife feel like we were drugged that night. So I'm like, man, I don't really want to plead guilty to.
Yeah,
I've never had an EPI or DWI or anything like this ever.
good.
I'm
Good.
actually a CDL truck driver, so I don't even.
Yeah, you don't
drink.
really want this, right? Yeah, you for sure don't want it on your record.
Yeah.
But if you were drugged, then I'm not sure you need to be charged with this, right? So what I don't get to give legal advice, but what I would say is it sounds like you want to plead not guilty, and that way you can visit with the prosecutor. That's going to be information he's going to want to know and be able to look into to make sure that this is a case he wants to go forward on, or not.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so let's enter that plea of not guilty, okay? If you and the prosecutor visit and come up with an agreement, perfect. If not, then you come back out to me. Do you, if you decide to go forward with a trial, what type of trial would you like? Would you like a trial by judge or a trial by jury?
Judge.
Okay. Okay, now here is the bad part of the situation. Actually, this is a lasting effect from COVID. I have to get through everybody before the prosecutor can come out. We used to let folks go out back there and talk to him in his office, but now they won't let us do that. So if you need to, go outside, make a phone call or whatever, that's fine. But I've got to get through everybody first, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you. Jeremy Campos. Hey, Mr. Campos, how are you?
Hi, good. And you?
Good. Any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
And we got a public intoxication, it looks like, from June 23rd, 2024.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall that situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know how you want to plead? Do you want to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
And are you entering that plea of no contest knowingly and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I will accept that plea. And then, Mr. Campos, do you want to try to keep this off of your record?
I get off at 4 and leave for most of then, so I don't get back in town till 5.
Okay. Okay. So, and then I do see some jail time. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. It happened on the 23rd, well, like about 2 in the morning, but they took me to the hospital because I got tased a few times. So by the time we left there, I think it was like 6 in the morning, and then I got out Tuesday. So it was like a total of 3.5, almost 4 days in there.
So how many times did you get tased?
Twice.
Twice. Okay. And how was that experience?
Weird feeling.
Well,
Well, the first time they already had me in cuffs when I was on the ground. My face was in the ground and they were real tight, so I was like wiggling. And then with the first tase, I was trying to get up and again. So,
Dang.
yeah, it's a different feeling.
And then I see that you're also on and I assume that was your first time, right? to be tased?
Oh, yeah, that was the first time. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay.
I am paying right now. I have one on the one from November,
Okay.
so
Yeah, I thought you
It's
were
coming up.
familiar. You
Yes.
just wanted to come back and see me, didn't you? You just didn't anticipate that tasing part, right? Okay, Mr. Campos, so on the one that you're currently on that
Yes,
payment
ma'am.
plan for, so I see jail time. What's the balance on that? Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply jail time credit to that balance, so you don't have to pay that balance, okay? And then I'm gonna apply the jail time credit on this. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you credit for time that you served in the Victoria County Jail. That's gonna extinguish your balance on this case. You were there quite a bit, quite a while. So we're gonna have a receipt for you at this printer, and then pick that up, take it with you, and know that you're no more payments owed to us. This is taken care of, and other than that, I do wish you the best of luck in the future. No more tasing, okay?
yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Campos.
We are ready to proceed this morning. Good morning, council.
Morning, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm dandy. How are you, Mr.
Not
Jensen?
bad at all. I have Mr. Worthen when the court's ready. He would like to plead guilty to one count of knowingly possessing a controlled substance, and upon entry of that plea, the city is moving to dismiss the drug loitering charge.
Ah, there it is. All right. Good morning, Mr. Worthen.
Morning.
I do have a document before me entitled Statement of Defendant on Plea of Guilty. Before we start going over that, Mr. Jensen, did you want to make your record?
I do. For the record, Robert Jensen, on behalf of the defense, I can tell the court that I believe that Mr. Worthen today has an opportunity to speak to his lawyer, me, answer all of his questions, and he's making a plea of guilt knowingly, voluntarily, with the assistance of counsel. And if the court will allow it, I can do the colloquy too.
Absolutely. Please go ahead.
Mr. Worthen, would you be so kind to tell the court your true and correct name and date of birth, please?
Everett
I'm not
Worthen.
going to stop you. No date of birth because we're on YouTube.
Everett Worthen.
And Mr. Worthen, I neglected to ask you, how many years of school have you completed? I need to add that to the plea form.
I graduated high school and then went to half year of college.
Are you 39 years of age?
38.
Do you understand that you are entering a plea of guilt to one count of knowingly possessing a controlled substance?
Yeah.
And do you understand upon entry of that plea, the city's going to dismiss the other charge of drug loitering?
Yeah.
Is that your understanding, and is that how you'd like to proceed today?
I'd like to proceed today.
Do you understand by entering this plea of guilt to the one count of knowingly possessing controlled substance, you are giving up your right to go to trial?
Yes, I understand.
Did I also explain to you that you're giving up all the rights that were explained to you at your arraignment by pleading guilty today?
Yes.
Do you understand you are giving up your right to testify in your own defense at trial?
Yes.
Do you understand you're giving up your right to remain silent at trial?
Yes.
Do you understand you are giving up your right to have witnesses testify for and against you at trial?
Yeah.
Do you understand that you are giving up your presumption of innocence by pleading guilty today?
Yes.
And do you understand you're giving up your right to appeal a determination of guilt by pleading guilty here today? Mr. Worthen, did you?
Yes. Yes.
Did I explain to you that the maximum penalty for this charge is 180 days in jail and a $1,000 fine?
Yes, you do.
Did I also?
You're not muted. My staff member who's there with the dog barking in the background, you're not muted.
Oh. Awesome. Yeah. I was informed.
Did I also explain to you that the prosecuting attorney is recommending giving you credit for the 6 days, suspending the rest, and agreeing to release you here today, for the ordering for the next 2 years to have no criminal law violations, do not possess alcohol, non-prescribed drugs, including marijuana or drug paraphernalia. We discussed staying out of areas of drug activity in Bothell that have previously been banned from, have no criminal law violations for the next 2 years, keep your address updated with the court, complete an alcohol drug evaluation, enroll in any recommended treatment. Do you understand that recommendation as I've read it to you today, sir?
Yes.
And do you understand it's only a recommendation? The judge is not required to follow it and could sentence you anywhere up to the maximum penalty if she sees fit.
I understand.
Did I also explain to you that if you're not a citizen of the United States, this plea of guilt could be grounds for deportation or exclusion of admission from the United States?
Yes.
Do you have any further immigration questions you'd like to ask me now before we go any further?
No.
And did you give me your permission to put your initials on this plea form that any and all immigration questions were answered today for you?
Yes.
Do you make your plea of guilt freely and voluntarily today? Has anyone threatened you or promised you with anything to plead guilty today? There's a statement that reads as follows. On or about November 7th of 2023 in Bothell, Washington, I was unlawfully in personal possession of a small amount of fentanyl powder. Is that a true and correct statement you're adopting as your own as a basis for pleading guilty here today, sir?
Yes.
With your permission, did you give me your permission to sign this plea form with an X on your behalf?
Next on my behalf.
In regards to one count of knowingly possessing a controlled substance, how do you plead today?
Guilty.
Your Honor, respectfully ask the court to accept his plea.
Guilty plea will enter. Do you find that it is knowingly voluntarily made and that there is a legal and factual basis for accepting the defendant's plea of guilty? Does the city have anything to add to its recommendation?
Good morning, Your Honor. Donna Totovasan, Rule 9 on behalf of the city. No, Your Honor, this is an agreed recommendation pursuant to negotiation with defense, and the city asks Your Honor to please follow it.
Mr. Jensen.
Your Honor, it is agreed. He's been in jail 6+ days now. He's hopeful to resolve this. I did tell him the court could put him on active probation depending on how they wanted to move forward with this. He's open to that. It sounds like he's had some ideas for treatment in Linwood, so he'll follow up with that as well. Your Honor, I can tell the court that he's living in Canyon Park with his parents. We discussed the SOTA order, which he understands can stay away from those locations, even though he's living in Bothell. He has potential to get a job in general construction with a close friend once he's released, but he's not working currently, nor does he receive any benefits from the state.
All right. Mr. Worthen, this is your opportunity to tell me anything that you would like me to take into consideration before I pass sentence. The fancy legal term for it is it's your right of elocution.
Well, I hope everybody's having a good day today.
All right. I appreciate that. Mr. Worthen, it sounds like there's some plans here for, I'm sorry, did you make a formal motion to dismiss I believe it was the knowingly possessing charge?
That's the other one, Your Honor, drug loitering. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
We pled guilty to the knowingly possession.
Okay. And did you make that motion, Ms. Tetevesian?
I can go ahead and make it right now, Your Honor. My apologies. Your Honor, for cause number 3A04092228, the city is moving to dismiss drug loitering.
No objection.
All right. Then with that, Mr. Worthen, I am going to follow this recommendation. I do think it's appropriate. So 180 days in jail, 174 days suspended, giving you 6 days to serve, giving you credit for 6 days already served. $1,000 fine. I'm going to suspend the entirety of the fine and will make a finding of indigency and waive any non-mandatory costs, fees, and assessments. I am going to place you on probation for 24 months. That will be active probation with the following conditions. All right, simple ones first. Notify the court in person or in writing of any change of address. Only use your true legal name and date of birth if contacted by law enforcement, and have no new criminal law violations. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? Pretty standard.
Pretty standard.
All right. I'm going to impose that you will not possess, consume, or have under your control any alcoholic beverages, controlled substances, marijuana, or any of its derivatives, or drug paraphernalia without a validly issued prescription in your name.
Yes.
You're going to abide by the stay out of drug area order. And I'm sure Mr. Jensen went over that with you, but I need to make sure you understand. If you go to any of those areas, it doesn't matter how legitimate the reason is. It's grounds for law enforcement to contact you and potentially arrest you on a new charge. All right. It's a gross misdemeanor, maximum possible penalty, 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. So you need to be sure if you need to go to any of those areas, you let Mr. Jensen or his office know so they can make a motion for me to grant you permission. If I give you permission, then you can go. But without that permission, then you get arrested. All right.
Understand.
Make sure that you are in communication with your attorney still if anything comes up. All right. Especially if you're going to be doing construction, because you might end up at a construction site. So make sure you know where the sites are. And if it's going to be in one of those areas, you let your attorney know so you get permission. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I don't want you back before me. I'm very lazy. I don't like having people before me. All right.
And
I would
as,
love to come in and have nothing to do. All right. All right. With that, and along those lines, I am putting you on active probation because I do want you to obtain an alcohol drug evaluation and follow the recommended treatment. I want you to get that evaluation done within 60 days of today's date, and I want you to have begun treatment within 90 days. Okay?
sounds
Now,
good.
that sounds like a long time, but it's not. So you're going to call your probation officer. I'm going to give you an appointment here. You're going to call your probation officer and say, I want you to help me get this done, because that's their job. Again, they know what I just told you, that I'm kind of a lazy judge and I really don't like having to work. And so their job is to make sure you succeed so you don't end up back before me. So my job is easier. Okay? See how it all works?
Just like a beautiful circle.
It is, but you have to make sure you talk to them, because if you're not talking to them, they can't help you, and then they have to put you back before me, and then I get grumpy, right?
And I don't want you to get grumpy.
Nobody likes it when I'm grumpy. I try not to get grumpy. I don't like getting grumpy myself. All right. So I'm going to give you that appointment. It's going to be with Paige Sprague, and it's going to be for August 27th, which is just a little over a week from now,
Yeah.
at 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a phone call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Make that phone call with her, and I'm actually typing it in a weird. I'm typing her name in so you know. So it's doubled up that you know who it is. And we're
Great.
also going to give you a separate little half sheet of paper. That's going to have the best phone number to call. Okay.
Yeah.
If you lose that, you'll have it on your judgment and sentence as well. And if you lose that, you call the court and say, I need to talk to her because I have an appointment, and we'll give you the phone number. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I want you to make that appointment.
Sounds good to me.
All right. With that, I believe that I have covered everything that was requested. Anything missing, either council?
No, you covered it, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to sign this document. And with that, that should conclude this matter, Mr. Worthen. Have a great day. You're going to get released today. Have a plan for that, because you and I both know where you're released. There are wolves waiting in the shadows, right?
Right.
People who want to pull you down from being able to achieve this. So make sure you have a plan for when you get out.
Thank you.
Take
Good
care.
luck, Mr. Worthen.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all your hard work.
Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.